A group of birds got together one day and decided to establish a church. The parrots stood up first and said, if we're going to have a church, we've got to have organization. We need committees and subcommittees and officers and lots of meetings. Then the pheasant jumped up and said, I disagree. Organization is all right, but what we need are a lot of big social events. We've all got beautiful feathers, and surely God meant for us to show them off. Then the sparrow chimed in. No, what we really need is a popular minister. It doesn't matter what he says or does as long as he doesn't ruffle anybody's feathers. Then the starling spoke up and said, well, I think you're all wrong. The most important thing for a church is to have a big, beautiful building. Then the mockingbird stood up and said, what we really need is a minister who is good with the young people. Then the cardinal, who had just flown in from St. Louis, said what this church needs is a great baseball team. And it was obvious that there was widespread disagreement. And then the wise old owl stood up and all the birds leaned forward to see what he would say. He said, despair not, my friends, for we can have all of these things. And the birds looked at one another and they said, yeah, why didn't we think of that? All of these things. Sounds like a good idea to me. And then they congratulated each other and shook wings and patted each other on the back, and they formed their church. And when they got through, do you know what they had? That's right. They had a church for the birds. It was a church for the birds not because of what they put in it, but because of what they left out. They didn't mention good news in there. There was no grace that was mentioned. There was no regard for God at all. No mission, no morality, no compassion, no love. There was no service or commitment to Christ. And there was no challenge to Christ-like living. Now, it's good to have organization and social events and a capable staff and a beautiful facility, but those things only become significant when they spring forth from the commitment to Jesus Christ. You know, Southwest Airlines, they've studied that company. For the past 40 years consecutively, Southwest Airlines has been profitable. Now, are they smarter than the rest of the airlines? What do they know that others don't? Not every airline is profitable. Certainly not every year for 40 years. You know what they discovered? They discovered that Southwest knows their purpose. All the employees, everybody who works for Southwest, they know why they exist. Do you know why they exist? They said the purpose of our company is to provide low fares so that everybody can afford to fly. Everybody in the company knows that. If you talk to them, you say, hey, what about some perks and some benefits? Why don't you do this and do that? They say, well, we do that, but if we did that, it would raise the fares, and that goes against the purpose that we exist. Now, certainly they have to be profitable to exist, but their purpose is more than just profit. The second chapter of Acts tells us about the purpose of the church.